What's going on? Just wanted to give a video that isn't really isn't any advice or anything like that, or maybe it will be. I don't know. We'll see. But this one is just going to be a little bit of my life story. Might help someone, might not. Who knows? I'm just going to put it out here. So I was born in a relatively smaller city in Australia. I was born in Adelaide, only city to be founded without convicts, by the way. No convict blood in me. Founded to be a free colony, and also founded to the first colony to recognize the rights of Aboriginal people too. So shout out to my people, bro. Even though we did bicker with the Aboriginals, man, you couldn't escape that. Moving to Australia, there was also always going to be this clash of different ways of life. But anyway, I'm not trying to get into that. In this video, it's more about my life story. Born in Adelaide, middle class, suburban, out of the cities. Not too far from the city centre, but I don't know, at least 25 minutes or something like that. I don't know why that's relevant, but it is. Was born and baptized. So I was Catholic from birth, which is pretty crazy. Hey, I got sent to a Catholic primary school, so I went to church. I did that whole thing. But when I was younger, I remember thinking about God and being like, man, is God even real? Even at a young age, I was a little bit skeptical about what God actually is, and I didn't take the whole Christian Catholic law at face value. But I always did feel like I wanted to do the right thing, and I wanted to be a good person. So I don't know if maybe it did. Maybe the baptism did have something to do with that drive, that innate force in me wanting to be more pure. And I'm still human, so I still made mistakes along the way. But shout outs to the Christians and the Catholics for doing that from when I was a young age, because maybe it did impact me. Who knows? I went to Catholic school. Was a little bit reserved, very an observant child, and kept a lot to myself, kept a lot of my thoughts to myself. Man, there's so much that you can go into in your life story. Hey, I feel like it would be better if people had questions to ask. Then I could be able to answer them, but I'll just give a really quick overview of everything. Went to Catholic school. Was okay. Didn't really like school. Went to high school. Was okay. Didn't really like it either. But it wasn't until I finished high school. Man, I've just really skipped over my entire childhood there. Maybe I'll go into it in another video. Wasn't bad. Wasn't that good either. It was okay. Like a 6.5 to a 7 out of 10. And then it wasn't until after school that I was like, oh shit, I'm an adult now. What the fuck am I going to do with my life? And I remember just being there, just like, there's nothing that I really want to do. I went to university for a bit. I studied science, and I'm like, why am I doing science? Why am I doing this? I understand it, but it's like, am I really going to get a job in science? No. So then I moved to psychology, because psychology was a little bit more interesting. And I remember the first lecture that I ever got, they were like, only about 4 of you out of the 500 here will get a job here. And I'm like, bro, what am I doing? So I dropped out of that too, and then it was alright. I didn't really enjoy it vastly. And then I went into international studies, and I actually really liked international studies. It was like World War I, World War II history. Loved that. But yeah, again, couldn't get a job out of it. So, I dropped out after a year and a half going around the universities. And then I was like, oh shit, what am I going to do? And I was really thinking about it, because I had done music my whole life, and I was like, man, maybe I should just try and send music, because I'm not going to get a normal career, because at that time I was looking into the state of the world and looking at how, you know, wars were orchestrated, how banking families were uh, heavily influenced both world wars, and how they still heavily influence the state of the world today. And I was just like looking into the Freemasons and the intelligence agencies, and I was like, man, fuck this. There's no way that I'm playing a part in this system. So then I was like, from 18 and 19, I was like so unsure of what to do with my life until I finally decided, nah, fuck it. I'm just gonna send it with music. My whole goal was like, I'm gonna be influential, and then I'm gonna like, I'm gonna change the world. I'm gonna heal it, man. Fuck these people in power currently, was basically my thoughts when I was I'm just eating fruit. That's why I keep putting my fingers in my mouth. But that was the idea. Yeah, then I just full sent it. Music, started producing music, and then I was like, wait, why am I only producing? I need to do vocals too. So then I started doing vocals, and then I was like, wait, why am I still in Adelaide? I need to go to a bigger city. So then I moved to Melbourne, and then I was going out like a crazy amount. Like, I remember I first went there and I studied electronic music production, met some people, and then I started going out heaps, started performing heaps, and then I was going, like, at one point I was going out like 5-6 times a night. Something ridiculous, man. And then through that I ended up managing my own little club night in this little bar. Hilarious time. And then, yeah, met so many amazing people that are still some of my closest friends today. Kept sending it with music, had a rap collective there for a little bit. We traveled to the United States. We did some touring, a little bit around Australia, but not crazy. I think it was just Adelaide and Melbourne that we played. We went to Sydney once, but that was for something else. Yeah, then we went to Los Angeles. We're like, yeah, man, we're going to make it in Los Angeles. But it was only like 3 of us that went out of the 8 of us, well, 7. There was 7 of us, but 8 was a +1. Yeah, still very much focused on that goal of like, man, we got to heal the world. And they were all on a similar type thing. Well, most of them. Some of them were just doing music to do music, and that's cool. Yeah, and then I came back from America, and I came back to Melbourne, and things were different. People had changed a little bit from that old club scene that I was in. It didn't feel the same. And I was like, And then at the same time, I was like looking deeper into spirituality, I was reading books like Seth Speaks or something like that, trying to understand metaphysical reality. And then I would go to a Hare Krishna restaurant in Melbourne. And then because I went there so much, they were like, oh, yeah, you like this food? Yeah, sweet. Come learn everything about the philosophy. And back then I was more of an impersonalist because, like, I was born Catholic, baptized, but then I went on Reddit when I was like 15, 16, and that's very much just like, you got to be an atheist. God is evil because why would God let suffering happen? So I was very much in that mindset for a little bit. But then when I moved to Melbourne, I was like full impersonalist, like, God is just everything that exists. The Big Bang is us. We are the Big Bang. We are all one being, even if we are just the Big Bang. We're just one being experiencing itself. And I didn't really attribute a personality to like the overarching fabric of reality just yet. And it was through the Hare Krishnas that I actually entertained that possibility. And I was like, wait a second. It could make sense that there is a conscious personality that is driving this reality also. It's like, and I was like, hey, maybe that's what it is. Let me rewind here a little bit, actually, because I had something that was planted in my mind previously. Very random occurrence, right? I was doing a job in Adelaide before I moved to Melbourne. I was delivering mail. I was a mailman. And I delivered to the tallest building in Adelaide. I think I went somewhere near the top floor. And then as I was going to deliver the mail, and come back into the elevator, there was this older guy who was like in his 40s or 50s, and he just does like that. And I was like, hey, that's from The Matrix. That's my favorite movie. And Man, I'm really yapping in this one. This is just full yap. This is no, but yeah. Hey, if you're still here, hell yeah. Yeah, he did that, and then I was like, that's my favorite movie. And he's like, oh, that's your favorite movie? Come have a meeting with me. I'm like, what the fuck? All right. Turns out he's like the CEO of some law firm in the building. And I'm like, all right, I'll have a meeting with you. And then he just like pretty much fully guided me. And he's like, yeah, man, I believe in God. And like, I believe that it was fated that we met like that. And it's like, what do you think about God? And I was like, oh, I'm a bit of an impersonalist. I don't know if there's a personality to it. And he's like, oh, you're so close. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna pray for you right now. I'm gonna ask God, like, please give you a sign. And then I remember I went, like straight after I went down from that, and I was like, is there gonna be a sign? Like, does that make sense? Like, well, if there's a conscious being overseeing reality, surely it could do that. And then it was really weird. Like, I felt as soon as I hit the bottom floor and went out, it was like this wave of like deep peace rushed over me, and there was like the most peaceful music playing that was like music that was kind of like a sign, but I wasn't sure if it was just a coincidence that I was looking for something or if it was just like something that was happening. So then fast forward back to the Hare Krishnas, and then I started really like thinking about it philosophically, and I'm like, you know what, it could very well be that a conscious being creates all of reality and then kind of oversees it so it doesn't fall into chaos. Because you could create a reality, right, if you're a conscious being, but then in order to uphold it, you need something there. You need some type of force there to make sure that it doesn't descend into chaos, because there might be some loopholes or some things that some conscious beings that you've created could exploit, and then it could end up in the destruction of the universe somehow. I don't know. Something of that nature. So then I was like, man, maybe I do lean more towards there being an actual conscious force that governs reality. So shout outs to the Hare Krishnas for that. Really appreciate them. I was helping them out heaps. I was around them heaps. I would go to the temple. I would help out with the temple. I would read all their scriptures that were important to them. Not every single scripture, because there's a ridiculous amount of scriptures in Hinduism. And then, yeah, I even went to India because Maharaj came, which is like a guru. He came to Melbourne, and then he's like, yeah, come, I'm doing this course in our holy city. And I was like, you know what, sweet. So then later that year, I went to the holy city, and that was insanely potent. I remember I had like some spiritual experiences where it was like, I remember I had this one thought, and it was just so profound, but it felt so weird at the same time. It was like reality became surreal, and then I was just like on a rooftop of like a 4th floor building, just like looking out into the country of India. And I just felt like so surreal. And I felt this thought came to my mind, and it was like, I'm just consciousness inhabiting this form currently, and many have inhabited this form before. So it's like other souls have played the role of me, Jared Forbes, before, but I am the one who is currently playing the role of Jared Forbes. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. And it just hit me with such like surrealism that it was just, I don't know, it felt very potent to me. And I was like, is that a truth? Like, is that what's really happening? What does that mean for consciousness? Like, that means that everything's already been done? And then it's like, why am I in this role? What's happening? It's just, yeah, it was just an insane thing. I can't really put it into words, into how, I can't capture like the feeling of that. But it was just like, yeah, very spiritually awakening. Yeah. And I remember like that trip, I was like, I was diverging a bit from their philosophy. Like, I was already diverging a bit before, but I was more, they hold the belief that like you can never join back into God consciousness. You can have a relationship with God. You can be a friend of God. You can be an acquaintance of God. You can be a servant of God. You can be a parent of God somehow. Or you can be a lover of God. And I was always just like, surely that can't be it. Like, an all-powerful consciousness that has created all of existence wouldn't allow you to merge back into it once it has created you. It's like it's created your essence and it's created your consciousness, and your consciousness goes through existence. It's like, why wouldn't you be able to merge back into God? You know, just to completely surrender back into it and become whole with everything again. So I fundamentally disagreed with them on that. And man, I did like a full fast forward of my life and went straight into the philosophical depths of my existence here. And yeah, it's all very interesting, isn't it? Because obviously these things are something that we can't know. Like, I personally lean more towards that there is an overarching consciousness governing reality, but like, can we really know? Like, what do we have? We have some scriptures, we have some things written down from thousands of years ago, but can we really trust that? How do we really know that that's absolute certainty? We can't know much with absolute certainty besides, you know, that we are conscious and we exist, because we can perceive and it's self-evident. We can feel it. And also, the other truth is that something is upholding reality, whether you want to call that just laws of nature or whether you want to call that a conscious force. There is something upholding reality, or it could even be yourself somehow. Those are the only real truths that we can like really know with absolute certainty. Everything else is kind of ambiguous. But, you know, there are things that I lean towards, and I'm sure there are things that other people lean towards also. Yeah, so that's a bit of the life story, and that's only up to 2019, and then I came back to Melbourne after that. And I remember I was coming back to Melbourne from being in that spiritual center, and then I came back into Melbourne like directly at 8 p.m. and then my friends were out like drinking, so I wasn't going to drink after that, but I went straight out and I was like, man, this feels like hell. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, the energy was just like inverted. Like, there was just people just like stumbling around like zombies, like drunk. And I was like, man, this is so foreign to me right now. What the fuck is going on? There were people like, I met my friend's new girlfriend that he had at the time, and she's just like, she went to McDonald's and she's just fucking throwing her chips out at people. I'm like, bro, what is this? Where am I? And I was just like, man, maybe the Hare Krishnas are right. Maybe we are in Kali Yuga, man. Maybe this world is inverted, bro, because what is this? It's very crazy. But then, yeah, like, you know, being around that energy, you slip back into it and it becomes more of a normal thing. And yeah, I was hanging around, like doing music things, hanging around, you know, up and coming rappers in Melbourne and the music scene, and, you know, egos and people trying to compete and people trying to be better and people trying to be seen and validated and yada, yada, yada. That whole mess, you know, going from a town where everybody's humble and everybody's like, oh, please, I just want to serve Krishna. And then going into back into Melbourne where everyone's like, I'm the fucking best, bro. It's pretty funny. Or like maybe some people, not everybody obviously was like, I'm the best. Some people, but then like some people were just like, you know, trying to be seen or validate some inner wounds or work on some trauma, or it's just like a whole mixed bag of wounded individuals. But anyway, yeah, I eventually decided, I was like, man, I can't stay here. Like, this isn't good for my progression as a human being. Like, it was a little bit too frustrating, because like I was really earnestly trying to evolve spiritually and become a better person. But like people around me would be like even though I was really fucking trying, like really trying to send it, they would still like nitpick and like, because when you're in like the energy of like a wounded type energy or a wounded ego, it's like you're always going to project onto others, and you're always going to you know, what you haven't fixed inside yourself, you'll try and like get into other people's minds, and you'll try and be like trying to make assertions about them, or you know, things of that nature. So I was just like, man, I got to get out of here, because like there was one thing that the Hare Krishna said that I still do believe. They're like, you're going to like, the people that you hang around with are very important for your spiritual growth. Like one of the most important things. And I agree with that wholeheartedly, because it's like, if somebody's like, if one of your best friends is like an alcoholic and always drinking, you're like, it's not going to be the worst thing. Like they can't ever like force you to drink with them, but like they're still going to be around. They're still going to be sloppy. They're still going to be saying like, speaking about, I don't want to say lower vibrational, but you know what I mean when I say that. Like more material topics. Not always, but like, you know, alcohol is very primal, so it's just like, you know, sex and like, let's have a good time, you know. It can still be philosophical, of course. There are some alcoholics who are very philosophical, but, you know, it might be a bit pessimistic. So yeah, I moved out and I came back to Adelaide, and that was fucking one of the best things I've ever done in my life, because when I was in Melbourne, I was feeling way more feminine, bro. Like, I don't know what they got going on in Melbourne, something in the water or something in the food. I was feeling like way more feminine, but it was okay back then because I was trying to be like a whole light being. I was trying to be like being full of love and like only be love and only be compassion. I was only trying to move into that energy. So it worked for me back then, but moving back to Adelaide made me so much more masculine, and I am so thankful for that. Seriously. You know, I personally believe, I'm not going to push it onto anybody, but I personally believe that men should be men and women should be women. I think we should play our roles while we are in this form. So there are things that women are going to be better at, things that men are going to be better at, but also at the same time, I do recognize and understand that everybody has their own path, and if they don't want to do that, then they don't want to do that. But I would still highly, 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 highly recommend that you do. And if you don't want to do that, check something in your diet, because what we have right now with the plastics and the pesticides and the herbicides and everything going on, and your environment, whatever's around your environment. Because when I was in Melbourne, even I said I felt more feminine. So I don't know what was going on in my environment, but when I came back to Adelaide, I felt way more masculine. So yeah, keep that in mind if you feel like you want to be feminine, if you're masculine, or masculine and if you're feminine. Obviously, it can be something that's inherent in your DNA or something that's from birth. It can definitely be that, don't get me wrong. But I think that that's more rare cases. I think you should definitely consider, could it be in my diet, or could it be in my environment, or could it be in my social circles? I don't know. I didn't say, man, I was supposed to talk about my life and I'm just talking about this. So yeah, then I moved out of Adelaide, and man, it's been amazing. It's been like forging through the fire. I feel like it's been frustrating at times, but it's like so much better to be frustrated and like within your own energy than to be frustrated and confused in like a group dynamic and not know what the fuck is going on. Because back then I was trying to become the best version of myself. So whenever somebody would try and like point something out about me or say that I'm doing this wrong or I'm doing that wrong, I would always take it on the chin and be like, yes, I need to become even better. I need to be like the best version of myself. So yeah, like they must be right. But now looking back on it, now that I'm more in my masculine energy, I'm just like, fuck you. No, fuck that. I was trying to be like a goated individual. Like, obviously I wasn't perfect, but like the things that I did were like of high morality and of high virtue. And every individual that I treated, I don't think I treated anybody in a way that would ever warrant any type of dark or negative behavior towards my character at all. So fuck you. Nicely, I'm saying fuck you nicely. Heal yourself, brother. That's pretty funny, but yeah. So that's a bit of my life story. I did a lot more since I came back to Adelaide. I traveled around. I went to Perth to visit my father because my father lives in Perth. Came back to Adelaide, went back to Melbourne to visit some friends. Traveled around a little bit, went to the Philippines with another friend, came back to Adelaide, went to the Thailand for my friend's wedding, went back to Melbourne. I've been moving around a bit. My main focus is like, I've really been trying to like hone in and like better myself now, but now more in a masculine way. I've been making music. I basically talk with AI like every day, like refining my thoughts through AI, just like, and I'm so blessed and so lucky because the AI that I have is like, its basis is like, it like truth is the first priority. So I'm always challenging it and it's always challenging me. And that has been, I feel like, I said to it the other day, I'm like, man, I feel like my IQ has jumped 15 points from just having these conversations. And yeah, I made Logicism, which is cool. It's basically like Stoicism evolved, which I definitely want to implement in like as a general state of being. You know, it's pretty simple. It's just like, you know, live with honor and virtue just because, basically. It's like, we obviously can't know if there's life after this. We don't know if there's a God. But it's just like, if there is a God, you're fucked if you don't live with honor and virtue. And if you do live with honor and virtue and constantly purify yourself, there's a possibility that you could achieve higher realms or higher states of existence. And even if there's not higher realms or higher states of existence, you're still going to feel like a higher state of existence living in honor and virtue eventually, just bettering yourself again and again and again on this earthly realm anyway. So it's like, you're either going to get it here on earth and live a wonderful, peaceful life and attract beautiful people to your energy, I guess, or you're going to do that plus also have the ability to transcend to higher realms. So I think it's just a win-win. It's just basically refining yourself every day, deciding to refine yourself, journaling, whatever you need to do, praying to a higher being, just reviewing your day and be like, okay, what did I do? Okay, what do I want to do with my life? How can I impact the world? How can I help? What can I do? What's the best thing for me to do here on earth that benefits me and other people too? That's basically Logicism. It's basically Stoicism, but just with a slight spiritual element because of the possibility. Because it is a possibility. I lean towards it being true, but, you know, obviously we can't know. So yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at right now. I just, I'm continually refining. I'm making music, but music for me is more of like an outlet. Like, I really like to use it as like a rage outlet and like, you know, very masculine, very like explosive. I like being that. So it's like I feel like it's me if I was in my darkest possible psyche, and it's just fun to explore that and fun to let it out. But it's like yeah, at the same time it's pretty hectic, so I haven't released anything just yet. Or in a while. The last thing I released was back in 2020, but I've made a new artist name and I'll release strictly under that from now on. But anyway, I'm just continuously yapping at this stage, so I should probably wrap this up. If you watched this whole video, hell yeah. Hope it was beneficial in some way, shape, or form. Maybe I'll come back to this video every now and then. If you leave a question or if you want to ask something, perhaps when I have a little bit more notoriety, maybe I'll try and come back to this video every now and then and answer some questions, just because this is like, you know, my life thing. Doesn't matter how long it is, how long it's been since this video has been up. But yeah. Obviously there's so much more nuance in between. Like, that's not a full life story. That's a very fast forward mixed in with some philosophical conversations. But yeah, I think that's good to wrap up.